Try somebody else's.
All right. I call this meeting to order. Can we please stand and salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jamie, could you read the sunshine statement, please?
Be advised that proper notice has been given by Township Council in accordance with the Sunshine Law in the following manner. Notice advertised in the Burlington County Times and Camden Carrier Post on January 8th, 2025, and posted on the bulletin board on the same date.
Would you call the roll call, please?
Mr. Morrow?
Here.
Mr. Beadu?
Here.
Here.
Mr. Jenny?
Here. First up is ordinance on first reading, ordinance 2025-01, calendar year 2025, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A.4-45.14. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Got a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Morrow?
Yes.
Mrs. Beadu?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Jenny?
Aye.
Mr. Lyon?
Aye. All right, next up, resolution 2025-25, appointment of Environmental Resolution, Inc. as Township Engineer. Can I have a motion, please? Seeing no motion, the resolution is failed. Okay, resolution fails as of no motion. Next, the consent agenda. Council, you've had a chance to look at the consent agenda. Any questions on the consent agenda? Can we get a motion on the consent agenda, please?
Motion.
I'll second. Roll call?
Mr. Morrow?
Yes.
Mrs. Beadu?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Jenny?
Aye.
Mr. Lyon?
Aye. All right, next up, we have public comment. Rules of decorum. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand and you will be recognized. At that time, you may approach the podium and state your name and address for the record. All remarks shall be through the council president. An individual speaker shall be allotted 5 minutes. All statements are a part of the public record, both written and video recorded, and cannot be redacted. Anybody wish to speak, please raise your hand. Oh, I need a motion to go into public. I'm sorry.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe. Where's the IT person? There you go, man. All right. Don't touch what?
Whatever you're ready.
Whenever I'm ready. All right, we're on. Mr. Morrow. Oh, I'm sorry. Spitch, William J., 518 Brown Street, Delran, New Jersey, the Cambridge section. starting from, let's see, we're going from left to right. Mr. Morrow, how many projects are now in progress with CME
As of this moment,
as of right now, as of the beginning of this year?
I would,
All questions to the council president, please.
Council President, what are the current jobs in progress with CME?
I do not have a list of every single project that's in the.
How many are, to the best of your knowledge, how many are in progress?
Joe, would you like to field that? I do have some list here, but Joe would have a more comprehensive list.
I think it would be safe to say we have at least 20 projects either ongoing or in the design stage or nearing completion.
And Mr. Belina, what is the projected time frame on these in the year 2025 going forward for the next 4 years?
For the next 4 years?
For the next 4 years, yes, sir.
For what? Projects with CMA?
CME, yes, sir.
I would venture against with everything that's currently been, for which they've been engaged, that probably see many of them done within the next 18 months. There are a few that will probably go on for 3 and 4 years. Very few, though.
All right, but
Mostly sewer projects.
will that list be made available on your site?
Yes, it will.
All right.
Sure, it's a public, yes.
Well,
Yes,
it's a yes or no answer. Thank you, sir. Carry on.
Will do.
So you don't know, Mr. Morrow, you said you don't know how many projects are actually in progress.
that's correct. Richard.
Mrs.,
Could you
what is that?
please
Apu?
address to the council?
Oh, I have to go to you first.
Yeah, that's just the rules of.
Okay. Mr. Counsel, may I speak?
So, basically, you're trying to grill the council on it.
I'm not grilling anybody. I'm asking a question, a yes or no question, sir.
Okay,
All right? May I proceed now?
sure.
Mrs. Apadu? All right. How many projects do you know, are you aware of?
I would defer to the
You're
administrator.
deferring?
To the administrator.
Okay, so you have no knowledge of, you're deferring to Mr. Belina?
He's the expert.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
would-
He's the expert, right?
I would defer to
Okay,
him.
all right. Moving down, is that, back to you, sir? May I approach Mr. Smith now?
You can ask a general question, yes.
All right. Same question, sir. Do you know how many projects are currently in action?
Yeah, I believe what Mr. Belina has stated is most accurate.
I didn't quite get that. Could you speak up, sir?
Yes, I said that what Mr. Belina stated.
Whatever
about
Mr.
20
Belina stated.
20 projects that are
All right.
either in progress or,
But you personally do not know how many projects are currently in progress?
I just gave you a response. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Jenny?
Mr. Spitch?
Mr. Jenny?
I don't count the number of projects we're working on. It's up to our engineer and our business administrator to manage those, and that's what they do. So I concur with Mr. Belina's answer.
Okay, all right. And you represent our district? What district?
I'm a councilman at large. I represent
All
the
right.
whole township.
Thank you. Sir, how about you?
15 pages.
15, there's 15 pages, and on those 15 pages, that contains how many projects?
Roughly somewhere around 20.
20, all right.
But to me, to say exactly how many, I
Okay, very well.
glanced at the 15
All right.
pages.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate that. I have 1:15. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
You betcha. Anyone else like to reach the podium? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. Adrian, 55 Springcrest Drive in Summer Hill. I have a couple questions. My first is a procedural question. What does it mean that nobody chose to vote on this change? What does that mean?
Basically, the council didn't want to move that resolution.
So you're keeping the status quo?
I will defer to our attorney, but my understanding is that if that resolution goes down, then CME would stay in place. Yeah.
Okay. Now, my understanding is these positions are under the purview of the mayor with advice and consent of the council. However, from all of your responses that you just made, it appears that all of you are saying you really don't know what CME is doing, that you're leaving all that under Mr. Belina's guidance. Now, it is common common in corporate America for consultants to be changed to the new administration. We have a change here in our leadership as mayor, and it is his prerogative to choose the engineer. And by deferring to Mr. Bellina, you are not doing your job. So the question is, why are you not willing to bring this to discussion and vote? If you're going to say, well, CME is in progress on this, everything they have done is work product that belongs to this community. It's our work product, we've paid for it. If we have not paid for it, that's problematic. And that is a question for Mr. Bellina if we have not. It is our work product. We have a right to change, and it is common to do so. Now, we have issues such as stormwater issues that have been going on for years, decades, that have not been addressed. I have stood up here and mentioned things that I know for a fact were not done appropriately environmentally by CME, which puts us at risk. So they have shown us that they are either not advising us properly, or we, as a town council and an administrator, are not listening to them, which means they are not being forceful enough. I think this is doing a disservice to both the voters in this town, the residents in this town, and our newly elected mayor not to consider his choice, or to have open debate about why you're not considering his choice. What happened here was not fair to the voters, nor was it fair to our mayor, nor was it fair to the recommended engineer. I'm disappointed, very disappointed. I could sit here again and list other things that I have seen that this engineering firm has not done appropriately. I'm a constituent. I am not a professional engineer, and yet I have this knowledge that can say this to you. So I certainly hope you will go back and reconsider and vote for who our mayor recommends. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else? I'll go to the lady in, yes.
Pat Pomerance, 21 Alden Avenue. May I ask why no one wanted to put that resolution out?
Well,
Why?
it did get read, it just didn't get moved.
Why?
The council.
Why?
The council.
Do
feels-
they not-
I have, listen, just ask me something. If you
I'm
just
sorry.
want your
Go
5
ahead.
minutes, I'll
I
let you go.
apologize.
No, you don't have to
Go ahead.
apologize. I just, we've had discussions over this. And I have a statement I'm going to read in my report that goes through why I believe we should keep CME. The rest of the council will have that opportunity in their reports to do as the same. But we have discussed the fact that we do believe at this time, CME is the right option. And we want them to work with the new mayor and get a year under the belt with the new mayor. Okay, and I'll elaborate more on that in my report. But while we appreciate the mayor wanting to invoke a change, right? It's his prerogative. We also represent the whole town, all 17,000 people. And at the end of the day, we have an obligation to all of them. And I'll expand on more of the track record of CME and everything like that. And that's just, I'm not going to speak for the rest of the council, but when we put it out, nobody wanted to move on that resolution. That's the simplest way I could put it. And you know what? Whenever there's these issues, there's going to be some people that are disappointed, some people that are happy, some people that are ambivalent, all right? But that's just the nature of what's going on here right now. And it's no knock on ERI, Pannoni, Alimo, or anyone else.
So just to add to what the previous lady said, she talked about the stormwater. We can talk about we won't, but we could talk about the flooding down in Riverside Park that CME has been working on with a variety of council people for over 13 years. Okay? If I had the time, I would go back through all the minutes for the last 14 or 15 years, and we could add up what we've paid CME to date, which has got to be millions of dollars. I think it's time to allow the new mayor the opportunity to succeed in what he campaigned on. He promised this town certain things. In order for him to get those done, he needs to have the people who are going to support him. And you five don't look like the five who are going to support him.
Oh, anyone else? I'm going to go over here. I jumped over her last time. I'll go to you next.
Hi, Jen Repper from Delran. So I'm just here in support of the mayor and him being able to hire another engineering firm. I just wanted to remind you all, I sat here when you were all sworn in, or Mr. Morrow and Mr. Jenny, that you promised you would all work together. And that was a big thing that all went on at the last meeting. So I don't see that right now, that you're working with him. If anything, you're putting walls up to stop what we, the people, voted. At the end, so for me, and I say this when I speak to you people, it ain't about you, it's we the people. It's our town, you work for us. You do what we say. That's how this works. And again, the whole country's tired of all this. Like, to me, CMA's part of your swamp that you have. You go to dinners with them. Oh, yes. Listen, I kind of know what goes on myself. I'm not that stupid. So you sit there and laugh in my face. I understand how you people work. So again, you don't bite the hand that feeds. That's what this is about. So again, the people wanted a new engineer firm. I go around to the town. I talk to many people myself also, and the people are fed up with the crap in this town. They feel as though the infrastructure, this town is like going down the tubes. I've said this many times. The infrastructure is falling apart. You have these people down at the river, the nightmares, and also the roads, the people on Bentwood. I've watched time and time again, people calling up here crying about the floods on Haynesville, the Bentwood, the streets, all the problems there, and nothing gets done. Again, this man is coming up with a bona fide solution for the town, and you're not even going to vote on it or anything. Just because, again, don't bite the hand that feeds. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'll be a little more calm.
Could you just state your name? And
Yes, my name is Carolyn Seuss. I am the current mayor of Delanco Township. Here tonight to discuss your engineering appointment for 2025. I understand obviously that Mayor Hutchins would like to appoint ERI as your new engineer, but does not have the support of the council. I just wanted to speak a little bit about ERI and how they've been our township engineer since 2013. The firm was appointed actually by a Democratic majority back then and has served our town for the last 12 years, going back and forth between both parties. To me, this is not a political appointment, and the town's needs should be the first priority, and what the firm has the experience to handle the immediate project needs. We've never really looked to change our professionals based on what their party is. Obviously, your flooding issues are a major concern, and the residents have echoed that as well. ERI has been involved in several projects in Delanco that included the Army Corps of Engineers and the DEP. Both of these agencies are who you would need to work with to address these flooding concerns. This past summer, our township was able to install a 500-foot vinyl sheet pile seawall along Delaware Avenue along the Delaware River. ERI designed and oversaw this construction project. It was a very large project, almost $700,000, and it went on for several years because of DEP issues. And ERI was excellent in working with them to ensure that the project moved along smoothly. The seawall will protect the historic Zierberg Mansion along the river and to ensure that all the homes in the area are protected from the river flooding. We were losing feet of land every year due to the erosion because of the river and the water rising. It was a very difficult project, and we were actually really happy with the outcome and how ERI worked with all of our professionals. They were also involved in check valve installations of various stormwater outlets to alleviate backwater flooding. That's when the water comes up through the storm drains. They designed and oversaw construction at several street ends, vinyl sheet pile seawalls at several of our street ends along the river. They obtained the permits from DEP and Army Corps, worked excellent along with them. Some other project they've worked with in our town, the dunes, they assisted in litigation with DEP and Army Corps to preserve the dunes. If you don't know what that is, it's a beautiful nature preserve along the Delaware River near the border of Beverly Township. They worked with our planners with the Field of Dreams sports complex. They helped with the design of the soccer fields, installation of the parking lot. They oversaw the construction of subsequent phases of the parks, different things that included the park design. They also were involved in one of our developments, stormwater outfalls. They oversaw the reconstruction of a failing outfall structure to the Rancocas Creek. Our town borders the creek and the river. They oversaw some construction at our fields that are along the river as well. They were involved in demolition of a huge property along the creek, a five-story industrial building. Now they're working with us to ensure with the planners that we have a park design that makes sense to ensure that there's no flooding there, that a seawall will be installed. So you obviously see the theme here. They're involved with flooding. They're involved with stormwater management. And they also prepared our stormwater mapping and our MS4 permitting system, which is a comprehensive map that the state mandated, and they prepare our annual permits as well. They're also involved in our lead-based paint inspections, which you know is now a requirement, and our road programs. They've done over 20 DOT grants, CBD grants, county and state grants for the roads, and did over 35 road programs over the years. They're professional. They have timely responses, which is really important to me. I kind of took on the role of the project manager. Our administrator's part-time, and we didn't have someone to manage the professionals on a project level, so I kind of took that over, and I worked closely with them for the past 2 years, specifically with Mr. Fox, and I was really happy with that relationship. He was an excellent communicator. Just on a financial aspect, they're really fair with their billing. I know a lot of times, you get these crazy bills that are inflated, but I always thought they were really fair with that. And they are the firm that is the engineer along a lot of these riverfront towns. They are the engineers of choice. And I think it's important that all these towns come together and work as one because we all have the same issues. And if we all have the same engineering firm, we can all kind of work together to help alleviate these flooding problems that are only going to continue because obviously of global warming and rising water levels. So thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Sir.
Yeah, Jim Fazzone, 306 High Street. Jim, Fazzone, 306 High Street, Burlington, New Jersey. I'm actually the former mayor of the city of Burlington. Again, I see, was elected official for 30 years. One thing you may consider, and I know that you have your engineer of record, and I think that's a good thing. Sometimes what we used to do in the city of Burlington was give someone else maybe a chance to get involved in certain projects. Just because someone's an engineer of record doesn't mean some other folks can't get some work. Also gives a chance for maybe the new mayor and council to work together, agree on some things, and see if we don't like several. You went through the who's who of engineers when you mentioned all of them, and could be a situation where you might want to just give someone a chance on a particular project, develop relationships not only with some other engineers but with each other.
Well, and if I could interject.
Yeah.
Time,
You're running the show. I'm just.
No. But I like to give everybody their 5 minutes without me taking it up. But we did offer up a solution to the new mayor where ERI would get involved with a piece of our work. And I commend him. He wants ERI for everything, and he's steadfast on that. So it's not personal. It's just business. It's not Republican, Democrat. but he didn't want to go in that direction, which that's fine. He's the mayor, right? But we did what you are saying we have offered up.
And I think that's a good thing. What was Tip O'Neill's quote was, "Politics is an energetic clash of conflicting ideas." So sometimes there's a happy medium there somewhere, and maybe next week the mayor thinks a little bit different. You guys think a little bit different. But good luck running. I've always been impressed. I like your town, like your restaurants, like driving down 130. Always seems safe to me. But thanks. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
My name's Samantha. I live on Chester Avenue. You just mentioned that you guys offered up something for the mayor's appointment, ERI. What was that?
When we were having discussions, that what we could do is we would keep CME as our municipal engineer, and ERI would get all the sewage authority work. And that way they could start working in town on the sewage authority work. And obviously our sewage authority is down by the river and whatnot. And I thought.
That's okay. So
I
sewage
thought that
authority.
was a compromise.
Sewage authority. Okay.
Well,
So
I'm sorry, sewer department.
sewer.
Used
Okay.
to
So
be sewage
either way,
authority.
sewer. You said the mayor wanted ERI for everything. Question: who is the engineer for the planning board?
Turret Consulting.
And who is the engineer for the zoning board?
That I'm not on the zoning board, so I'd have to defer to somebody that knows who's on the zoning board. They haven't done their rework
Is it? You
yet.
said it's CME, Mr. Polina?
It's been CME that they haven't done their reorg
Yeah.
Thursday,
Okay.
Jamie?
And who is the tree expert? CME? Okay. So then.
They were the only applicant.
Okay, so CME wouldn't be ousted of the town. ERI wouldn't get everything. And then also, who is our special projects? We don't have special projects. Okay. So it's my understanding that the appointment belongs to the mayor. Was there another company that the mayor could have proposed, other than CME, that the council would have voted yes to?
He could have, but we were pretty steadfast.
Okay.
And I will do that in my report why we were wanting to stay with CME, but we were offering up then.
The sewer authority. I heard the sewer
yes.
authority. So, but it is the mayor's appointment with what is the word? Advice and consent of council with cause. So without cause and only the council coming together and saying, well, we heard you, but we want CME, that falls under the definition of coercion. That's not offering up the appointment. That's not saying that the mayor actually has the right. That's saying this is a formality, and the appointment's not a formality. The appointment belongs to the mayor. If there's a reason that ERI should not be the engineer, then that can be discussed. Can I address Mr. Bolina? Is that okay?
Joe?
What was submitted for ERI, the hourly versus CME?
Ma'am, I don't know all the hourly rates off the top of my head.
Okay, and that's fine.
I'm sorry,
Did you say off the top of your head if one was less than the other?
no,
Okay, that's fine.
No recollection.
That's fine.
And without me knowing the exact amounts, they were, except for a limo, they were all kind of in the same
Okay,
ballpark.
so then that's fine.
But
So
I-
that goes to the thing, right? So, I mean, it wouldn't cost necessarily more or anything else. So I'm not particularly seeing a causal reason, then that takes this again to a formality, and the appointment isn't a formality. The appointment belongs to the mayor. And by saying, no, but this is where we want to stay, that's not really how it works. That's taking from the people, which, as you can see, I've been to these meetings, and our mayor said he was going to give the town a voice. Our town is here. Our town is here to support the mayor. And I will say one other thing that has nothing to do with ERI or anything else, but I mean, it's not very long I've been coming to these meetings, but if you guys could look a little bit like you care about the people. I mean, just a little bit. I mean, Mr. Lyon, I've seen you you're looking at something every couple seconds. Just pretend like you care, at least. Okay? That's all I can say. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Joan Kerstetter, 10 River Drive. Thank you for coming out, Delanco and Burlington, and letting us know exactly that there is hope, maybe, if we could get new people in. They built that wall over there, worked with the Army Corps of Engineers. We've been being told since 2011 that, the government takes a long time. So, we're 13 years into this, and call me selfish, and I know the engineers do other things in the town besides flooding, but I'm going to say, yes, call us selfish, because we have to fight for the residents in Riverside Park, because that's where we live. We've been there over 60-plus years, and not much is happening. And as far as CME goes, I have a couple little things that we could look at. When they built that bike path, was CME, the engineer, involved with that, with the county?
I couldn't.
Because, like,
I
that's
know
our,
that was a county project.
Yeah.
I don't know if the CME was.
Yeah, I believe
I'd have to
they
go back
were.
and look at the records.
And like them being experienced with the riverbank down there, they probably should have let them know that, eventually it's falling into the river because we lose feet of the berm every year. And now any of the landscaping they put down there, the new trees they put down there, the new flowers they put down there, they're gone. They're washed away. That little fence down there, well, there's the water. So like CME should have been a little bit, better advice on that. So again, in July of 2021, the emergency stream bank erosion study was done. CME provided pictures for the study according to the paperwork that I have. The problem is the pictures were from 2012. Well, that was 9 years between the 2012 and 2021. The landscape has changed drastically in 9 years. No updated pictures, didn't quite understand that one. The Stewart Avenue project. We went back to one of the sidewalk panels was damaged in the very beginning. It took me coming to the town council to ask, can they fix it? Because originally, I went up to the CME guy and I said, hey, they ran over my sidewalk, smashed my sidewalk. Don't worry, all the sidewalks, all the curbs are going to be replaced on both sides of the street. No problem. Fast forward a year and a half, when they finally get to the sidewalks and the curbs, I go to a different CME guy, and I said, don't forget, they damaged my panel. Oh, I'll have to ask about that. I said, well, I was told that they're going to replace all curbs and sidewalks. No, we're only replacing the curbs and sidewalks of where we removed the trees and there was damage. Well, that's on the other side of the street, so we weren't getting anything. So I had to come here and bring it to the attention of the council, which, yeah, it got done. My neighbors, there's a handicapped woman, her panel broke. Well, she had to go through this, that, and the other to get it taken care of. Well, they replaced it and broke the one next to it when they replaced it. Does anybody walk up and down, these engineers are walking up and down the street in this project. Nobody saw any of this was happening. My other neighbor, it's water box, the water meter box cover is that far above grade. Here's the grass.